Today we're diving into one of the most iconic and influential legal battles in Australian constitutional history, the Tasmanian Dam Case, formerly known as Commonwealth versus Tasmania, 1983. Let's start with the facts. The southwest region of Tasmania is home to one of the last remaining untouched wilderness areas in the world. Back in 1970, the Tasmanian Hydroelectric Commission proposed the construction of two massive dams on the Gordon River. These dams were expected to produce about 1/3 of Tasmania's electricity, a significant contribution to the state's energy supply. However, there was a catch. If built, the dams would flood roughly 35% of this pristine wilderness, an area rich in biodiversity and cultural significance. In an effort to protect it, the state Labor government declared the region a national park in 1981, but everything changed a year later. In 1982, a new Liberal government came into power in Tasmania, and they fully supported the dam project. Meanwhile, conservation groups across the country strongly opposed it, arguing that the environmental cost was far too high. That same year, UNESCO, the United Nations body responsible for protecting cultural and natural heritage, declared the Tasmanian wilderness a World Heritage Site. This global recognition raised the stakes. In response, the federal Hawke Labor government introduced the World Heritage Properties Conservation Act, 1983. This law was designed to stop any construction that could damage World Heritage-listed areas, effectively halting the dam project. Tasmania wasn't happy. The state government challenged the federal law in the High Court, arguing that the Commonwealth had overstepped its constitutional powers. So what was the legal issue? The question before the court was whether the Commonwealth's World Heritage Properties Act was constitutionally valid. In particular, did the federal government have the authority under Section 51 of the Constitution, specifically the External Affairs Power, Section 51(29), and Corporations Power, Section 51(20), to pass a law that directly impacted a state infrastructure project? The Commonwealth argued that since Australia had signed an international treaty, the World Heritage Convention, they had the power to legislate in order to uphold it, even if it meant overriding state decisions. So what did the High Court decide? In July 1983, the High Court delivered its judgment. While parts of the Commonwealth legislation were found to be unconstitutional, the section that stopped the construction of the dam was upheld as valid. Let's break down the reasoning behind this decision. Justice Mason, delivering the majority judgment, explained that the Commonwealth's external affairs power allowed it to make laws that fulfilled international obligations, such as protecting World Heritage Sites. In fact, 4 out of the 7 judges agreed that the federal government had the right to override state laws in this instance. This was a major moment in Australian constitutional law, showing that international treaties could influence domestic policy and even outweigh state interests. But the case also raised some deeper questions. What we call Obiter Dicta, or things to think about. On one hand, the case reinforced the importance of protecting the environment. It recognized that international agreements, like the World Heritage Convention, can have real consequences at the national and state level. But on the other hand, it sparked concern about the balance of power in Australia's federal system. Some argued that this decision gave too much power to the Commonwealth, eroding the state's ability to manage their own affairs, especially in areas like infrastructure, land management, and development. For example, if every international treaty Australia signs can justify new federal laws that override state decisions, where does that leave state governments? Others saw it differently. They believed that the Commonwealth should, in fact, use its powers more often, especially when states fail to align with international obligations. For example, if a state refuses to meet global climate targets, many argue the federal government should step in to protect Australia's international reputation. So, what can we take away from the Tasmanian Dam case? It's more than just a legal battle over a dam. It's a landmark decision that continues to shape the way Australia balances environmental conservation, federal-state relations, and international responsibilities. This case remains a cornerstone in Australian constitutional law, defining the scope of federal power in relation to international agreements and environmental protection. It's a powerful reminder that the Constitution isn't just a legal document. It's a living framework that adapts as the world changes.